Hey everybody, if you're new to my channel, I'm Lynn. I call myself a living foodist. I grow lots of microgreens and sprouts, and I make Rejuvelac, and I also have a garden outside where I grow a lot of greens, and I grow other stuff out there too, but I grow mainly greens outside. My YouTube channel is pretty new. I don't have a lot of videos yet, but I hope that you'll stick it out with me as my channel grows, because I will have more videos to come. And I'm also on Instagram if you want to check that out. I'm there at Lynn's Living Foods, and daily I post what I eat, and I show different things like on sprouting and on growing microgreens, just different fun stuff. So if you want to check that out, you can at Lynn's Living Foods. But today I want to talk about how to get started with sprouting and with growing microgreens, okay? Kind of the stuff that you would need to get started, to get set up, okay? So let's start with sprouting first, all right? Well, let me back up. Let's start with the seeds, okay? To either sprout or to grow the microgreens, the companies that I use to get my seeds from, or I like using True Leaf Market. I've been using them for years. I love the Sprout House, Sprout People. What else? Johnny Seeds is a good company too. So either one of those you can get seeds from. They all have a good selection, okay? Now, to sprout with, you're going to need your seeds, and you're going to need your jar, and you're going to need water, and that is it. Well, it may be a drain rack if you want to do a drain rack, but that's all what you're going to need, okay? You can even use a jar that you have on hand already. You know, if you have an old jar that you had something else in and you used it up, and it's a good size, and you want to clean it up real good and use it to sprouting, you can do that, you know. Or if you want to get, you know, a few mason jars to sprouting, you can do that. They don't even have to be this big. They can be smaller. Y'all, this jar here, I actually got this. I used to manage a health food store years ago, and we had this in the back kitchen. It had artichoke hearts in it. And y'all, I kept looking at the jar, and I kept thinking that would make a really good sprout jar. And so once we emptied it out, I got the jar, and I was so happy with it. But anyway, I liked it because the opening was really wide, you know, and it's easier to rinse and to get the sprouts out and stuff. But what I did, I just got a little netting to go on the top, and you just want to make sure that whatever you cover it with, that the holes aren't big, so that way when you're draining the water out, that the seeds won't fall out. And I just put a rubber band around it. You know, real simple, no big deal. And or if you want to get some jars that are specifically for sprouting, you can. I have a few of these. The company that I got this from, it's called Now, N-O-W. Now, I got these locally here at a health food store, but I have seen them on Amazon. You can get them there too. And they come with the lid on it. And the hose on the lid are really tiny, so the seeds won't come out whenever you're draining the water out. But real simple, you know, so just if you want to just start with whatever you got first, just to kind of get a routine going, and then if you want to later get some other jars to sprout in, you can do that, you know. Now, if you want to get something like this, y'all, a dish rack, you know, they're really cheap. You can get them like at the dollar store for hardly nothing. You just set your jar on top of it, open it up like this, and then it's going to sit on here. So that way, whenever you rinse them and you're draining them, it's going to be in an angle like that, okay? But you don't even need this. You really don't. But if you want to get that, you can. Or I had my husband make me this here. Let me grab it. My little sprout rack that I have, you see, sits here. Then I just kind of put the sprouts on there like that, and it drains, you know. But you don't need anything fancy. You really don't. I mean, you can, if you want, whenever you rinse them out real good and you drain them like this, just kind of turn them around really good, so that way the water's going to come out really well. And then once you do that, you can really just lay them on your countertop in your kitchen and just cover them with a dish towel. And just make sure to keep the front open, so that way, you know, the air can get in there really well, because you want them to have circulation, you know. I mean, remember, they're living, okay? So they need that air. So you want to keep the front open. But well, keep the lid on it. When I say open, don't take the lid off, but keep the lid on there, but just don't cover the front. You want this to be showing so they can get the air. And just every now and then when you think about it, just kind of turn it, like that, to kind of move them around a little bit. And if you're out of your house all day at work, don't worry about it. Just when you get home that afternoon or whatever, just kind of give it a turn. That's all what you got to do. Now, you can rinse them once or twice a day. And when you rinse them, well, first let me tell you how much seeds I have in here first, okay? These are lentil sprouts, and these are like pretty much the easiest ones to sprout. So if you've never sprouted before, maybe start with these. They're very, very simple. I have about 1.5 cups of seeds in here. And what I did, I put the seeds in, and then I filled it up with water. I came up pretty high with it because when they're soaking like that, the seeds will kind of expand. So you want to have enough of water in there so that they're going to stay covered. So fill it up pretty high, and then you're going to leave it soaking overnight. Then that morning when you get up, you're just going to drain them really well. And then if you have the drain rack, you can put them on there. If you don't have that, just turn them around real good, make sure that they're drained, then just put them on your countertop. Now these will take between 3 to 5 days to sprout. They don't take long at all. I like the tails to come out, a good little bit before I start using them, but that's just me. Everybody has their own preference, but you can probably start eating them at about 3 days if you wanted to, but I let them go between 3 to 5. And then what I do, when I see that they're pretty much about ready, I will take them and I put them in a, big dish, and then I just pour them in there, and then I'll let them sit in there maybe for the day, so that way they can air out pretty well and kind of dry up a little bit before I put them in the fridge, because they do tend to keep better if they're not wet whenever you go to store them, okay? So that's it for that. I mean, real simple, right? So if you don't want to get into the soil and all the trays and all that yet, just start with this. I mean, guys, you can grow a lot of food in these little jars. I mean, I'm telling you. If you have maybe 2 or 3 of these, I mean, you're going to be producing a lot of food in these little suckers. I mean, they really do make a lot. But just, you got to get in that habit, that routine. So that way, say when these are ready, then you're going to go ahead and put more seeds going, so that way, they'll be sprouting. So when you're done with this batch, your next batch will be ready to eat, so you won't run out. That's the only thing. Now, ones like alfalfa, the only difference is that you're going to put them soaking the same way. You're going to rinse them once or twice a day too. But after, I don't know, maybe about the 3rd day, I guess, just when the tails start kind of coming out really good, I'll put them like on the windowsill to start kind of getting sun and start greening up really well. And then I'll let them go like that for the day, and then, or maybe 2 days like that. And then I will take them and stick them in a dish, and I will fill it up with water really good, and just room temperature water, fill it up real good. And then I will take my hand and just kind of put in there and kind of swish them around really well, so that way the seeds will kind of pop up to the top, and then you just get a spoon and kind of scoop off the seeds off the top, and you just put them in a cup, and then you toss that out. But the reason I do that is because they will keep a lot better if you get most of the seeds off. So you won't get all the seeds off, and that's okay. It's okay to eat them, but the more seeds you can get off, the better, because they will keep a lot better that way. And some of the things you can do with sprouts, y'all, you can make smoothies with them. You can put them on sandwiches. You can put them in wraps. You can put them in salads. You can eat them as they are. I mean, any of them are really good just to eat them just on their own. Like the little sprouts right here, they're really crunchy. I love them, and they have a good flavor to them. You can just eat them, right out of the container like that. But you can do different things with them. You can even, now I wouldn't cook them now because you want to keep them live, right? If you cook them, you're going to kill all the nutrients in them. So you want to keep them alive. So, but if you want to put them with a meal that you're having that's cooked, I would cook the meal first, and then you come back with your sprouts that you're going to eat, and you just kind of set them on your plate with the rest of your food. Just don't cook them. Just kind of put them on the side whenever you're done cooking, on the plate that you're going to eat on. But anyway, that's really it. Really, really simple. You just need the jar, the seeds, and water, and maybe a rack to put them on. No big deal. And you don't need a lot of room to do that to either, So if you're short on space, then sprouting is a really good option, if you don't have a lot of room. Now for the microgreens, what you're going to need for that, you need 3 trays. You're going to need a bottom tray that doesn't have any holes in it. You're going to need a tray that's going to sit into that tray. It's called a 10 by 20 shallow microgreen tray. And you're going to put your soil in that and your seeds. So that way, whenever you water it, the water can come out the bottom. It has holes in it, So the water's going to drain out into the drain tray. Then you're going to have another tray that's going to sit on top. So after you plant them, you're going to have the tray on the top. So you have the bottom tray, this one here. This one doesn't have any holes. This one here, it's a shallow microgreen tray. It has holes in it. That's the tray that the plant sits in. Then you're going to have this here to sit on top once you plant them, okay? So you need 3 trays for that. Now I'm going to talk about just for a second the lighting and the temperature, all right? I get a lot of questions on that. Don't worry about that too much, okay? For the lighting, as long as you have a really good window, to get by, it doesn't have to be a big window, but just a nice window, you're fine. They would get the light that they need. Now, if you're in a situation where you have a really tough winter and you don't get a lot of sunlight and you're trying to grow them and they're just not making it because there's just no sun coming through, if you're in that situation, then you may need to get some grow lights, okay? I'm really big on using natural light. That is always my first option, because I think that they get so much nutrients from the sun, so much of that life energy, you know what I mean? I know how I feel when I'm out in the sun. I love the summertime. I just feel amazing when I'm out in the sun. But so they just get that life energy from it. So that's why I'm for natural sunlight, But trust me, if I was in a situation to where, that was the only way I could grow my food indoors was to use some grow lights, I would get me some dang grow lights. I would use them in a heartbeat, okay? So if you have to use them, all right? The temperature in your home, y'all, they will adjust to whatever temperature you have. They really will. So just set the temperature to whatever you're comfortable with in your home, and they're going to be fine. They really will, okay? So let me get comfortable. So don't really worry about that, okay? They're going to be fine. So whatever temperature you want, set it on that, okay? Now, the only thing I have found is that, like during the winter time, because you have the heater running, so the air gets a little dry, so the microgreens will get a little bit drier, so you may have to water them a little bit more, but that's the only thing that I've found. Other than that, you just set it on whatever temperature you want to set it on, okay? So we have the seeds, the trays. The trays, I'll give you 2 different options where to get them from. You can get it from a company called Boot, B-O-O-T, Strap Former. I would really suggest using their trays because they're very durable and they're going to last you a long time. Other places you can get them from, you can get it from True Leaf Market. They have plenty of trays there. You can get them on Amazon. Just go to Amazon and type in 10 by 20 microgreen trays, and you'll have a different selection come up, on different trays you can choose from, okay? But just for each microgreen that you're growing, you're going to need 3 trays. Your bottom tray, the tray that sits inside, and you're going to need the top tray, okay? So we got the seeds, the trays, now the soil, okay? A couple options for that too. You can get it from True Leaf Market. I've been using the soil from True Leaf Market for years now, okay? Great soil. But recently I found one from Good Dirt, G-O-O-D-D-I-R-T, Good Dirt. And what I like about that one is that it has a type of plant food in it, and it has some probiotics in it. And I already emailed the company and I talked to them about it, and I made sure that it was vegan friendly. So know that it's a vegan friendly soil, okay? And the one from True Leaf Market also is vegan friendly. So either one is good. I just like having a backup plan, So that way if you have one company that's out, You can get it from another company. That's why I like having different companies that I get seeds from. So if one's out and I really want a certain seed, I can just like go to the other ones and say, okay, let me check this one, let me check that one. So it's good to have a few options, okay? And another thing is, as you can, it's a good idea to stay kind of a little stocked up on it, okay? So if you can get a couple extra bags of soil every now and then, get it. So that way you can have a little bit extra on hand if you need it. The same way with the seeds. I like having a little bit extra on hand just to make sure that I'm okay, So yeah, that's it. So you have your trays, your seeds, your soil, the shelving, all right? Yeah, you don't have to have really any special shelving either. Now here, y'all, I just remodeled my kitchen. I guess it's been about 2 years now, I think. I think it's going to be 2 years this summer. Y'all, if you go on my Instagram page and you look way back, way back in the beginning, you'll see my kitchen before it was remodeled. And I used to have over here, I made my husband build me, I think it was either 3 or 4 shelves, okay? And I had it on my countertop right over here, and it was right in front of the window. And y'all, I had all kind of trays sitting up there, and I would have the trays underneath the bottom shelf too. And that's where I grew. I didn't have, as much space at that time, but I made do with what I had, So no big deal, Let me show you. See, I had them over here on that shelf. And I had I think it was 3 to 4 shelves right there. I think I originally had started with 3 shelves. And then I was like, oh, can you put me another shelf? So he put me 1 more. And then I had 4, I think, in the end. But yeah, then whenever we did the remodel, I'd really designed the kitchen to where it really fit the lifestyle that I live, So I had all the shelves put up back here, and I have the shelves on the windowsill right here also, to grow on. And I also have a shelf by the window in my living room where I put, mainly in the living room, I put my wheat and barley grass over there. But yes, that's it. So if you don't have any shelves, that's okay. Just put them on your countertop. You can put them on your kitchen table. Either way, it's going to work. You just make whatever space you have work for you. The important thing is that you start. That's all what matters. Just start in whatever situation you're in, and then you just work with that. And then these trays here, y'all, you can even, you can get a 10 by 10 tray, and you can actually fit 2 10 by 10 trays in this one big 10 by 20 tray. So then you can have 2 sets of microgreens growing in the one 10 by 20 tray. So that way if you don't have a lot of room, then you can have 2 varieties in one tray. And I like doing that sometimes anyway, just to do something different, And really you don't even need the 2 trays in there if you don't want to. You can actually just use the one long tray and then just kind of plant on one half one type and one half the other type. But just keep in mind when you do that, the 2 seeds that you pick to plant in here, you want it to take the same amount of time to grow, because some of the microgreens grow a little bit slower than others. So you may need to, you need to actually put the 2 in there that are going to kind of grow at the same time, And if you start growing and you want to do 2 in a tray and you're not sure, you can message me. That's fine. Lynn's Living Foods, just DM me and I'll let you know the ones that kind of grow at the same time. But yeah, I think that's it, y'all. So we talked about the trays, the soil, the seeds, the lighting, the temperature, the sprouts, the jars. I think that's it. I just want y'all to start growing. That's all. And if you have any questions at all, just comment below, or you can always direct message me on Instagram at Lynn's Living Foods, either way. But yeah, that's it. And the same thing with the microgreens, like with the sprouts. You just want to kind of get in a routine to where, you have, you constantly have some food coming up, So say if you're doing, 2 or 3 trays, say you're going through this one and you're about, part way through or even a quarter way through, then you want to go ahead and start planting another tray, Or a good plan is to where you just kind of every day or every couple days or every 3 days maybe, just go ahead and put another tray planted. So that way you're constantly going to have some coming up, and then you're going to have them growing all at different levels, you know, so you'll have time to go through one tray before another one's ready. You know, am I explaining that good enough? I hope. But yeah, so you just want them growing up at different times, so you always have something coming up, you know, the same way with the sprouts. Okay, I think that's it. It's been a little over 20 minutes, so again, any questions, comment below or DM me, and I will talk to y'all later. And just remember, eat sprouts, drink grass, and I will see y'all in the next video, okay? Bye.